Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Barr.
Here.
Giovanini.
Here.
Eckhoff.
Here.
Callis.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Hicks. Bradshaw.
Here.
Clark. Gaber.
Here.
Willie.
Here.
Thank you. At this time, we have an obligation to have a meeting of the Civic Center Authority with no business before the Civic Center Authority. Close that meeting and go right into the consent agenda.
I have a question or
Question?
comment. For the record, I was absent the 20th. It's got me listed as being here, which also means I was voting on all the topics of the night, which I wasn't, obviously. But, and there was one other place on the minutes where we had 9-0 vote and had 3 vote no, so.
I will fix that.
Typos only. That was in section C, Jerry. And it, well, I'm up to 13. Just for the record, it's not a big deal,
But it is.
but I didn't vote for a lot of those. I didn't vote for any of them.
Okay.
I will fix it.
Corrections are being made. Any other errors or comments?
Yes, on that one with, you're just referring to, I didn't vote no on that.
I apologize. I will fix it.
Is that C?
See,
Yeah, C,
Okay.
but it's 9-0.
Yeah.
Okay, I will take care of it. Sorry about that.
Hearing no other issues, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Kelly, seconded by John Willie. Roll call, please.
Barr.
Here, yes.
Giovanini.
Yes.
Eckhoff.
Yes.
Callis.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Gaber.
Yes.
Willie.
yes,
Thank you. Moving on to the regular agenda. We have information on the aggregate electric supply.
Yes, if you recall, last year, we renewed our electrical aggregation for 2 years. Part of that is a bid that comes out in March, and that bid was conducted. With that bid, in your packets, you'll see we chose the 2-year option for the electrical bid of Dynegy. Unfortunately, the bid is higher. I think had it been earlier or last year, the bid would have been a lot higher. So what we were paying now, and this bid was just for 6 locations: the wastewater treatment plant, the rec center. 2 of those locations are the Oakland Museum, Old City Hall across the street, and the golf course. And as you can see, the current rate was 4.345 cents per kilowatt hour for 5 of them, and 5.766 for the golf course. And this year's bid came in at 5.902 cents per kilowatt hour. Everywhere at the golf course was 5.802. So the 2-year bid was the better bargain. They predict that it's going to be pretty flat for a while. So us not taking that 3rd-year bid, I jumped in on the conference call, and we were with about 80% of the other communities all chose 2 years rather than 3. But those bids are dependent on the communities. They're not the same. But if you look up top, that was the overall weighted average bids. And so 5.922 was the overall weighted for year 1, 5.755. So as you can see, our rates were just a little bit higher than the aggregate average. That's all been done. We had till 4 o'clock that day to accept those bids, so, that was just part of our aggregation plan. So this is just information at this time.
Make a move, we approve the bid as submitted.
This one, there's no need for a vote on it. It's already been done. It was part of our aggregation plan, and like I said, I had to do it by 4 o'clock that day, so.
Moving right along, as they say sometimes. Okay, Part B, ordinance, not emergency transport service agreement.
Jake, do you wanna
Jake?
talk on that?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
So this is a third contract that has to deal with non-emergency transfers. And this contract specifically, we've been working back and forth with OSF for about a year now. So this is something that we worked very hard on for a long time. And finally, we've been able to iron out the language that both sides seem very happy with. And what this will do for us is we are being called on a regular basis from St. James to provide transfers. And that usually comes into 3 different forms. The first form is where they have to go to another hospital like St. Joe's or St. Francis and be admitted. Another form is where they will have to go to another facility for a specific procedure, like a PICC line. It'll be something where they will get the procedure and then they will return back to St. James. So it's actually 2 transports in one. And then the final one is where a patient needs to return back home. And what this contract does is it helps us secure payment for that. So that way, if insurance does deny the claim, we resubmit this invoice to St. James, and they will guarantee the Medicare rate. And it's the same financial compensation that you see in the other 2 contracts that we've done with the nursing home. So we're very happy that we've gotten it to this point to come to this agreement. I do personally want to thank Administrator Wolford and Alan Schrock for all the work they put into this. We definitely looked through this very carefully. I also would like to thank OSF St. James, Brad Solberg, Matt Burton, and Tim Johnson. They also had a lot to do with what is presented to you today. So tonight we're kind of to the point where we have an ordinance before you. I hope you take into consideration to approve it. I do believe it's a very good situation where it'll help us offset some of our normal operational costs to provide the EMS services for our community.
Thanks, Jake. Any questions for Jake? It says it's very similar to our previous transfer. And means that we are looking forward to working well with all of our community partners. The motion,
I so move.
moved by John Willie, seconded by
I'll second.
Brian Gaber. Roll call, please.
Jovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff,
Yes.
Callis,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Gaber,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Thank you. Great work, Jake, by the way. Moving to item C, Napa sign illumination variance. You want, Dave, you want to give us an update?
Aaron from All Right Signs. You wanna go?
Hi, good evening. My name's Erin Livingston. I'm the office manager at All Right Sign, here on behalf of Napa. The ask is for the new signage for Napa to be illuminated. The whole request is within the code allowance besides that key point of being illuminated. They do currently have illuminated signage, and they're replacing that signage. Oh, sorry. Is that better? I'm short. Did you need me to repeat? Did you hear what I said?
I did.
Okay.
I think I heard you too. So we're replacing the illumination they have now with a new sign.
Correct.
But it will not be lit at night, correct?
Correct. Yep, they will turn it off when the business closes.
When does the business close?
5:30.
So during winter months, it will be illuminated.
Yes.
So currently, it's not lit at all?
No, it is.
It is?
Yes, yes.
John, I think the existing sign was there before we had our sign ordinance for the central business district that didn't allow illuminated signs. And because our central business district ordinance doesn't allow the illuminated signs, they had to ask for variance. Even to replace it, they're not allowed to replace it. They could keep what they had, but the grandfathering didn't follow through to replacement.
Okay.
So is the change that it's an LED? I mean, if it was illuminated before and it's illuminated now, I'm not really sure what's changed.
It's a new sign.
Just
Yeah.
upgrading, just upgrading.
Yep.
Okay.
The past illuminated sign was before we passed the ordinance prohibited it. Now we have the ordinance.
Same size as before, correct?
It wasn't a size variance, it was only an illumination variance.
No, what I just mean is,
Size-
Yeah.
the size of-
It's larger. It appears larger.
is it larger than the previous, or the proposal's gonna be larger?
Yeah, slightly larger.
But it was still within permission,
Right.
permissible size, yeah.
The only variance is the illumination.
They're on the fringes of the central business district, aren't they?
Yes.
Because they're right on
Fair to me.
160.
Placing them. Let's comply with current code.
So the only variance is illumination.
Rules are rules.
Which
They had.
we already had
Yeah.
for,
The illumination, I don't know, our reason for not allowing illumination in the ordinance, does anybody know? Recall?
I know
Obviously,
when we
we don't
drafted,
want-
it was a central business district
Right.
thing, and internal illumination was not very historic. They did external illumination, they could do the light pointing down at the sign was acceptable, but the internal illumination,
Right.
the neon sign sort of thing, was something that, at the time of the big revamp of the ordinances, was something that the planners thought maybe didn't fit the downtown central business district. Of course, this is very much on the fringe anyway, and right along 116.
Well, but a lot of
But it is
communities,
still in the central business district.
Yeah.
a lot of communities have a restrictive sign ordinance just because they don't want a lot of signage. I mean, they just
They
don't,
don't
you
want a
know,
lot of
that's why I was
flashing,
curious of what the reasoning was.
Now, they don't allow bright flashing, that sort of thing.
Yep,
Because signs, you go down, take the Las Vegas approach and just
yeah. Overkill.
inundate you with illumination.
just to make sure I understand this, if like this sign breaks and they need to replace it in 2 months, do they have to come back for
If
another
They
variance?
come up with
because
a
it's
new
still an
sign, yes,
illuminated
but they
sign?
could repair a broken sign. If they were content with the sign they had and it just needed, I would say, if they'd asked me for an opinion and they want to leave the old sign, just convert the innards to LED rather than fluorescent or whatever they had, that would have been fine. But to completely replace the sign, Dave's right, it requires
Okay,
the variance because they're asking for a new sign permit.
okay.
They can repair what they've got.
All understood? Any other questions? We have a motion on the floor.
I'll motion to approve it.
Motion by Jamie,
I'll second.
second by Jason Lee. Roll call, please.
Eckhoff,
Yes,
Callis,
No,
Lee,
Yes,
Bradshaw? Yes. Gaber,
No,
Willie,
No.
Barr,
Yes.
Giovanini,
yes.
Callis. Oh, I said that, sorry.
You get to vote twice.
If you want to record his 2 no votes, though, that'd be fine.
Sorry. My block was empty.
Are we in Chicago? Okay. Thank you. All right. Item D, structural engineering contract.
Thank you. We'd like to enter into an engineering agreement with a company regarding the building at 218 West Madison. As we've mentioned in past meetings, there were some structural issues with the brick facade above the doorways on the building. And there was some concern about the foundation. So we had preliminary inspections with Shamlin and Associates of Ottawa, and they've submitted a proposal to do the design work, inspections, and all the project bidding documents for the remainder of the project for a total cost of $10,900, seeking approval to enter into that agreement.
So, and just as a reminder, 218 West Madison Street is, we purchased in a redevelopment agreement through the TIF, and this would be a TIF project.
And the price of the building on this one was $1.
Yes, this was
Madison was $1.
acquired with the
Along with the
Gilders. Yes.
So everyone was aware at the price, and that was one of the reasons they basically gave it to the city. They knew there was issues with the building, and we were trying to get it back up to enough.
I think we knew that going in.
Yeah, we knew it going in. That's why it was priced that way.
Right.
They knew they had to put a lot of money into it, and the TIF and that, we were in a position to do that and get it back into a good use again.
How many-
The interior work is done.
Yeah.
All we have left is the front facade and a little bit of work on the back side of the building. Otherwise, the inside work is done at new electrical service, so it'd be at a point that we could dispose of it.
Basically, make it a shell like we did on the other buildings, and whoever buys it can go in.
They can do what they want, yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept the proposal for the engineering work.
Okay. Motion by Kelly, seconded by Mike Barr.
Second, yeah.
Roll call, please.
Callis? Yes.
Lee? Yes.
Bradshaw? Yes.
Gaber?
Yes.
Willie?
Yes.
Barr?
Yes.
Jovanini?
Yes.
Eckhoff?
Yes.
Super. Now we have a presentation from the Community Enrichment Team. Liz, you're up.
Team.
Go team.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's a big team.
So go ahead and flip the slide.
You have to say it louder.
I think it's our team. No, there we go. So I see you guys all have Oreos in front of you. I just like to wish you a happy National Oreo Cookie Day. It's celebrated March 6th every year, and you're probably wondering why I'm bringing this up, right? So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the National Day calendar. I'm sure everyone in here has heard of this before in the radio in the morning, or, you know, on the news in the morning, you'll see something about National Oreo Cookie Day or whatever it may be. But there are about 1,500 different national days. This calendar was started by a gentleman by the name of Marlo Anderson. This company's been doing this for 10 years, and they've created quite a product. Is anybody not familiar with national days? Anybody not heard of this before? Okay, good. So they get nationwide media coverage. In fact, they did National Friday last year, and they had 750 million earned media. So I'm sure a marketing guru in this room could explain to you that's pretty good. 750 million earned media. Yeah, that's kind of a dream. So anyway, let's go ahead and flip to the next slide. This is why I'm talking about this. There is a National Road Trip Day, oddly enough. It falls on the Friday before Memorial Day every year. And so this year it is going to be on May 26th, 2023. But this is going to go, we're going to go ahead and flip to the next slide now. This is where it gets really exciting. So Marlo Anderson made the decision to make designations. And Pontiac, Illinois has been designated the official destination of National Road Trip Day 2023.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yay, yay, yay.
Wow.
That's incredible.
I'm pretty stoked. So what this means, we'll be getting a lot of coverage. Locally, on the ground here, we are going to be working with, oddly enough, we also have the home of the Great American Road Trip here in Pontiac. So we're working closely with that company to do some things to work to get their customers into our downtown, and also vice versa, make sure people that are here to see our sites downtown go out and visit them. There's also a nonprofit that's working to throw a street party. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. And then we're just working on a lot of ideas to help develop small businesses here in town. We'll definitely have a presence out at the highway too. But then their team, the National Day Calendar team, they're planning their own little road trip. It's going to be based out of here. They're also planning to do an actual declaration. It'll be, you know, a little bit of hoopla around all of it. So go ahead and mark your calendars now. May 26th, that's a Friday, and there'll be stuff going on that whole entire day, and I'm sure probably through the weekend as well. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. This is like the first time we've had the chance to debut the badge. I'm really excited. They're going to really start publicizing things probably about 6 weeks out from the actual day itself. So be on the lookout for more.
Oh, yeah.
Is there only one destination that they promote?
Yes.
Okay.
So last year was the first year that they had ever decided to promote a destination, and it was Kingman, Arizona, which is also a pretty well-known Route 66 town as well. And the people that he worked with in Kingman actually recommended Pontiac to be their next pick. So he called me and we had a Zoom, and it's kind of snowballed from there. Awesome. Okay.
Sounds great.
Anybody have any questions about that?
I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions as it comes closer.
I mean, I wasn't going to answer them, but no.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. We're going to go to the next slide then and talk really quick about our red carpet corridor. So I know everybody here is familiar with red carpet corridor. It's been going on. This is our 16th annual. I can't believe that. Red carpet corridor festival. It started, 16 years ago. Betty was pretty involved in getting it started. John Weiss, another Route 66 guru, he helped in it as well, along with a whole bunch of other people. And it's a linear festival that takes place from Joliet on. This year, we were approached by Bloomington Normal CVB, and they had asked if they could join in. And all the communities agreed. They thought that was a great idea. So it's now going to be 100 miles from Joliet all the way to Bloomington. All those communities you see will be having their own events. And we're going to go ahead and go to the next slide to talk about our local event, which is the Swinging Bridges Arts Festival. We're really lucky to have such a strong arts community here in Pontiac, and the Greater Livingston County Arts Council has actually taken on the task of creating this festival. It really celebrates all of the arts. They have performing arts, they have, make and takes, they have art vendors, they have an art show for a contest, actually, I think for junior high and high school. So it's just a really great festival. They actually really helped to get this back to a 2-day festival because they always wanted their festival to be a 2-day festival. And they kept asking us, Red Carpet had gone to a 1-day festival about 3 years ago. And they kept asking us to ask the committee for Red Carpet to go back to 2 days. So luckily, with adding Bloomington Normal, it also got to go back to a 2-day festival. So hopefully we'll have lots of people staying in our hotels then too. Anybody have any questions about either one of those? I did include in your packet the brochures. And those will be distributed all throughout the state.
Okay.
Anything else on that?
Just another great weekend in beautiful downtown Pontiac.
Leading up to National Road Trip Day.
Yes, there you go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Well, I expected Liz to take about a half hour, but she cut it short for us. So, it says on here, mayor's comments. I actually have a few interesting things. I hope everybody had an opportunity to go to Even Glow Lodge's open house for a couple of days, Friday and Saturday, and see the structure out on Indiana Avenue. It's pretty impressive. I know Mike was there and Kelly was there, and I think John Willie was there too, yeah. So it was pretty impressive to see, and they're moving forward, and people are transferring as we speak, I believe.
This week, I know.
Yeah, I know they're going this week. And then another big thing that happens tonight, might be over with by now.
Yep, we lost.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yep, by 13 or 14.
Yeah. Pontiac was playing in the super sectional for the first time since 1962. Strange thing is, I was at that game. They lost that one too. But Frank was too, yep. So,
That shot went round and round and round
Yeah.
and round and fell off.
yep. Gary Rapp.
Wrapper.
It happens. So they had a great season, and this is the third time they've been to the Sweet 16 in the history of the school. That was 61 years between trips, so we hope to get there sooner. But congratulations to the team and the coaches and the school. It was great.
Conference was really stacked. There was 4 or 5 teams from the conference that made the regional finals.
Yeah.
It's
We
pretty
played
amazing.
3 teams out of our conference.
Yeah, made the Sweet 16. It's pretty amazing.
Last week, there was also a great exhibit at the library. I missed the opening night, but I got by to see it on the second go-around. They drew really nice crowds. I think it was pretty impressive. A Lincoln Trail type thing. The other thing I wanted to bring up is come April, we're going to be seeing some new faces on the council. And we've had some suggestions for relaying out the room and how we're viewed and sound, and the pictures are coming across really good. But there've been some suggestions about doing some new layouts and that. And so we're not staring across at each other and different things. We're gonna try a couple things, probably in April, see how it works out. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions, you've got about a month to pitch them in and see what we can do to make some changes there. Other than that, I think Jim has a lot to say, so City Council, any comments for you?
I had
Bill.
a couple, I should have brought this to Liz's attention. The girls' state tournament was on over the weekend, and
Did you see?
team out of Bennett Academy was here, had to go through Pontiac, where they're interviewing these 3 kids in the crowd with big straw hats. And they asked them where they got them.
Always.
Wally's in Pontiac.
Well, they had the Wally's logo on it.
That's funny.
I was watching the same game. Pretty entertaining.
That's awesome.
The other thing I had, and I know I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, the pothole situation. And Alan, in front of your folks' old house, has gotten so bad now, I go around the block to get to my daughter's. There's about 100 foot there that just, we have to do something temporarily. I mean, it's terrible. I don't know of any other place in town that's got holes like we do there. Chris, I know you've looked at it.
Well, that is on our pavement schedule this year. Throw some more in it. All winter, but
I
throw some more in it.
know we have. It's
Right at the time. The water can't run off the road there because the
Nope.
neighbors have had too much water. It's just hard. Water to drain.
yeah.
But we'll get it filled in, Bill.
Well, that's all we can do for temporary. Thank you.
Frank?
With all of the activity Liz has scheduled for the summer, what is the status, or do we know what's going to happen with the Stillwell Building?
That's a really good question. And
I mean, it's getting to be an eyesore after
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Ronnie earlier last week about it, and he's been meeting with Becky. And they have their own engineer coming back. The one they hired was I think, out of town until early March. So they've got an engineer going to look at it and try to come up with a proposal. But it's, lots going to depend on price, which way it goes, I think. But they did, if there's a timing, the engineer, they had several proposals from engineers, and the one they wanted to take, that person wasn't available till early March. So that's what Ronnie told me Monday. Because I thought the same thing. I called him and said, what's going on?
Are those ladies moving out of the beauty shop that, they were here? Look, they're out. They wanted, at one point, there was talk about a canopy or a balcony extending over the, is that still on the table?
They
Or?
still wanna do
So they're not totally out of the,
working on
They believe, though, and I think we believe, that as it's done right now, the structure as supported does not present an immediate danger. It's an eyesore, but it doesn't present an immediate danger. I know Dave was really worried if we were looking at a big snow load, that it might cause some issues, but the people they hired to do that, I think we believe they did a pretty decent job. And they did get right on that after this event happened. It was within 30, 45 days that they actually did have some supporting structure there. But I think it's a difficult decision from financial standpoint, because obviously severe injury to the building. And, they want to make sure they have all the data before they make decisions.
But could we not, there's still all the desks. The stuff is still there, just,
Yeah.
can they not, can we ask them to clean that up? If it's not dangerous, I guess I
We
just.
can't, we have not, we've communicated, their attorneys, Ron Fellheimer, I've been in, probably talked to him 20 times about it since this event happened. And, we haven't given them any official notices to do anything because they voluntarily cooperated up to now. And we can anticipate that's going to continue. They just are we went through the winter where it's difficult to get it evaluated, and you see what, just the cost involved at Madison Street of doing the engineering part.
Yeah.
And they had several proposals, and I think the one they wanted was probably the lower bid, and the person was out in Florida for the winter, so was coming back the first week of March. So he thought they should have some decisions made hopefully by the end of March. And again, we've stayed on him. Literally, I called him just to check on the status last Monday morning. Looked at it over the weekend.
folks are trying to put a little pressure on
They just want them to let them know it can't stay that way.
well, I think that's the worry, that it's going to be just abandoned and left that way.
No.
No,
Take the money
that's,
and run.
that they've
it.
committed,
Plans are to leave it.
yeah.
Is that right? Good.
And it comes up quite often. We don't want to beat anybody over the head with it. They're under the understanding that their time frame is moving rapidly to the
Well,
end.
and the circumstances of the incident with the driver doesn't provide them with the deep pocket to help pay the bills. The person had a medical emergency apparently, and, I don't know what actions they've taken with respect to that, but I think they're primarily looking at their own financing, their own insurance, as opposed to that. Because it wasn't, had it been somebody who had, say, been under the influence and did it negligently, there's different legal rules. And I think the way it happened was probably not as beneficial to them economically.
Well, that was a poor choice of words to say that it was an eyesore, but being right on the corner.
Well, it is.
It stands out.
I come down Mill Street a lot, because I go out south of the town a lot, and it's right there in your face. And if you didn't know that it had been, an engineer type had looked at what they did, you wouldn't know that it was structurally sound and not gonna hurt anybody. It looks terrible. It's hard to believe that, quite honestly, just a layperson, that a car hitting it could do that much damage. looks more like a bomb, but the end result is it did. It's just what structure. That's why we're looking at Madison Street, because structural issues, can cause building collapse and all kinds of things. So you know that as well as anybody, because you deal with structure all the time. So, we are applying, like David said, gentle pressure, letting them know we're watching it closely and trying to make sure they're moving through their process. But we don't want to make them feel like, they're the criminal here. It was something they didn't cause themselves.
Which, one last on that too, and I would expect, while it hasn't happened yet, but I would expect it to come back with at least a facade grant application for that. And within the TIF, this might be one of those circumstances that's exactly what a redevelopment project is. That kind of is what the TIF is for. That's a corner building that supports that whole block, and so we'll look at that, I suppose, with the infrastructure committee when that comes in.
I have one question also. I understand there was something going on with the theater. It closed for a while. Is there an update to that?
I had, so if anybody knows anything other, that weekend, I was there on Saturday, and then Sunday, I had got a call that they were closed indefinitely, and just this last weekend, I went by there and they were open. So I have not heard what happened or what took place or what prompted them to make that statement and then reopen. So I don't know.
It was a heating issue, and they resolved it to a greater extent. So it was very cold in the theaters.
To add on to the comment about TIF and the facade grant, I mean, months ago, maybe even last year, we were working, well, I guess that's not so in little bit back, but I mean, we kind of came up with a new program that we were going to get. I mean, have we made any strides on that we're
on the new program?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did I miss all that?
Well, there was a number of facade grants that were waiting, that we had an infrastructure committee and granted.
Right, I
And
remember
so-
that, but we were going to rewrite, I mean, we kind of came up with some perhaps
Grant.
new guidelines
Yep.
and dollar amounts and that.
Yep.
And have we,
Yeah, we
is all
have
that in place?
We have those
Okay.
in place, yes. And
I got the memory usually, but I
so
Okay.
I can tell you that as of right now, what's been approved versus what's been paid, only one of them has been taken care of. So there's a number of them that will roll into the next fiscal year that will build toward that maximum that we allowed. And so I think there's one more application that's waiting that will probably be next year's total.
Because weren't we going to have a date where everybody had to turn in? I mean, we talked about having a deadline at the
Yes.
beginning. Okay.
Yep.
And that's in,
And so this year, we're probably not going to face anything like that because that total amount is already allocated.
yeah.
And there's only one sitting out there. And when we do our committees, we'll talk more about a miscellaneous in case there's an emergency
Yep.
that happens within the TIF. So.
Yeah.
So, speaking of that, there is a need for a committee of the whole to go over the budget. So I know in the past, it had been like every Monday of January and February, and this year has been unique. And so we have to really compress quite a bit. So I'm looking at the week of the 13th, and I would like, if possible, to reserve that whole week to get all the departments through and discuss their budgets with you. At a minimum, I'd like to get at least 4 of those days, if possible.
What time are you?
That would be up to you guys. I think we can work around whatever works. At least a couple hours a night.
I may or may not be gone a part of that week, but I'd say schedule them, and if I can make it, I can. I will.
What was the week?
The March 13th.
Next week.
13, 14, 15, 16, and or 17.
Good with me.
I'm going the 15th.
Okay.
I
I
have
should
some
be o-
appointments at like 4 or 5.
Okay.
It's on the day.
Well, I don't think we want to do more than one portion at a time. 2 hours is a long time. I don't think you want any longer than 2 hours.
I think that would be plenty.
I mean, otherwise.
I don't
you
want to
could
keep you here 6 hours a night, but
No,
we
unless-
do have a lot to get through.
Right. I was gonna
We
say
need
we
more
might-
cookies.
Right?
The question of time is the thing. Would it be better to go 4 to 6 or 5 to 7?
I can't be ready.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Jamie, 5 is too soon some days, or?
I could be here at 5 any day except Tuesday. Tuesday I could be here at
Okay. So if we go Monday for 5 to 7, Wednesday 5 to 7 is okay?
Oh, wait, I was wrong. I can't be here at 5 on Wednesday. I'll be here at 5:45.
Okay. Do we want to 6 to 8? Is that better?
On Tuesday also?
So you could make it,
On Wednesday, I can be here at 5:45. On Tuesday. I won't be
Tuesday,
able
she
to
said
be
6:15.
Tuesday 6:15,
here. Yeah.
you said? Okay.
So what is Tuesday?
So let's say 6:15 to 8:15? Tuesday?
Monday's 5 to 7.
Monday, did we switch Monday to 6 to 8? Or was 5 to 7 still okay on Monday?
I'm okay with
Okay. 5 to 7 on Monday, 6:15, 8:15 Tuesday. Wednesday, 6 to 8. And if we can schedule Thursday 6 to 8 as well.
Okay.
And as a contingent, and if necessary, if something should happen during the week, can we plan Friday 6 to 8 as well? Okay.
So basically 6 to 8, 3 days, and 6:15 to 8:15 1 day.
Except Monday.
Monday's
Monday,
5
5
to
to 7.
7.
Yes.
One will send us.
We'll
an
send
update.
out, yes, we'll send out a reminder.
Large print.
Okay. Just a big thanks to Liz. I know they have an extremely busy year. We were talking about that today. It's busier than we have people. Actually, the whole year is going to be quite busy in a lot of different things.